welcome to another episode of Shou Talks. Today I am going to talk about religion and pretty much the role it's played in my life and where I am now. I was raised Catholic. I went to private school my entire life. St. Matthew's from kindergarten to 8th grade, and then I went to Fontbonne Academy, FBA, quack quack, for high school, and Suffolk for college. But I grew up in a Haitian household. My aunt, who is pretty much the matriarch of our family, she instilled such a fear of missing church in all of our minds, where every Sunday we would all wake up and go to church. And she actually was like the coordinator of her church. I'm not really sure what people's tasks are titled when it comes to churches, but whatever the operations manager version of church is, that's what she was. And she ran it. She literally was there morning, noon, and night, attended every mass. She was there for the 8 o'clock, the 10 o'clock, and the 1 o'clock. And we were there with her. I think, I want to say roughly towards the end of high school, probably college, I started to branch off. I was raised to think that any religion that was not Catholic was wrong. Any religion where, it wasn't about God was wrong. And I think now, being in my adult life, it's wrong to judge other religions. I don't think that there is such thing as a better religion. You believe in what you believe in. If you believe in God, you believe in God. Who installed the right for you to sit down and say your religion is wrong? My religion is the right way. And I think because my aunt had such a devout belief in her religion, it low-key turned me off to Catholicism, and it made me want to stay away from the church, and I did for so long. And it's not that I stopped believing in God. I pray. I never stopped praying. I never stopped believing. I just didn't feel comfortable being in the church. And also, the masses were really long. I'm not going to act like that didn't play a part. We'd get there by like 8. We'd be done by like 10:30, 11. Like, it was just, to me, at the age I was at, I knew that I was not giving church my complete capacity. I would be in church thinking about all the stuff that I needed to get done during the week. Or I would be texting whatever guy I was entertaining at the time, or on social media, just not paying attention. Even as a kid, it was, oh my God, I can't wait to get out of here so I can go play with so-and-so. Like, it was never what's the word I'm looking for? I never fully gave it my all. And that wasn't fair. Not necessarily just to the church, but it wasn't fair to myself. I was gypping myself when it came to religion. I was not allowing myself to have the full experience of what the church can actually give you if you sit down and pay attention to it. It was just embedded in me that this was something I had to do. And I think finally, when I got to the age of, you're an adult, can't nobody tell you what you have to do, then I just cut it all off. And when I tell you that my aunt did not take that well. Like, she would wake up. No. I remember one time she came to me and she asked me, how do you feel when you wake up on Sunday morning and you don't go to church? And me, in true Shou fashion, I said, the same way I wake up Monday through Saturday when I don't go to church. And I think her reaction was just like, don't play with me. But it's the truth. You know, I spent my entire childhood being forced to do something that I didn't understand. You know, you're told to believe in God. You're told to go to church every Sunday or else you're going to go to hell. You're told. And I think finally when I just became of age where I wanted to explore things on my own, I was like, no, I'm not going to go to hell because I don't want to go to church with you, or I don't want to go to a Catholic church. You know, I've visited other churches. I've been to Morning Star. I've been to, oh my gosh, I can't remember the name of the church. Lord, I'm such a heathen. I'm sorry, Lord. But it was a great church. It was in Dorchester, on the corner of North 4th Street. I really can't remember that. Mount St. Olive. There you go. Or Mount Olive. Kingdom Builders. See, I was going to get it. It was coming. Where I loved it. You know, I had a boss who actually took it upon herself to take me to praise and worship with her. And there was such a vibrant connection I felt walking in and feeling okay to dance, feeling okay to clap, feeling okay to enjoy the music that was being sung because it was a form of prayer. But keep in mind, I couldn't go home and tell my aunt I just went to a Protestant church. She wouldn't hear that. She would not allow that. So I kept it to myself, you know. And now, don't get me wrong, you know, I know I'm expressing emotions of, I'm pretty much saying how I was forced to go to church, which I was, but there were positives about the level of devotion my aunt had when it came to what my family had when it came to church. You know, it helped me understand the importance of religion, the importance of faith, you know, the importance of knowing that we live in a society where, despite there is evil roaming around, because I truly believe that there is evil and there is a good and evil, and that there is a devil and that there is a God, that we have someone on our side who took the time to not just create us, but create an entire world for us to live in. And, you know, he created us in his image. You know, he didn't make anybody superior to the other. So, you know, when we're walking around and, you know, there are different races and ethnicities who think they're better than the other. And I'm like, last time I checked, we were all created from the same person, and we were all created in the image of God. So it's like having that knowledge and faith to fall back on does help, you know, me get through life. You know what I mean? Whenever I'm going through a really hard time, or I have trials and tribulations, I pray and I ask for help. And, you know, people who are not spiritual or not religious see that as a form of meditation. So there are so many similarities across the board when it comes to religion and just society ethics. You know what I'm saying? You know, some people see it as religion, some people see it as meditation. It's a way to communicate with a higher being or your higher being. You know what I mean? So growing up, I had that instilled in me. I do want to say, though, that the feeling forced is where it took a turn for me. Maybe it's just the ideology that my aunt portrayed it as, and pretty much making me feel like if I don't go to church, then I am doomed for the rest of my life. I've never been good with ultimatums, especially if they're presented to me. But the reason why I brought this up is because in an effort to try to normalize Mama Baton's life as much as I can. Those of you who are tuning in for the first time, I am a caretaker to my mother who has Alzheimer's, and I want to say up until about 3 weeks ago, her dementia has progressed, her Alzheimer's has progressed, and I'm trying to my hardest capability to keep her in as much as a routine as she was prior to COVID. The most essential part of that, however, was her religion and her faith, and of course daycare. But I can't force daycare to open back up. So with everything else, I can try my hardest to put that back into her schedule. And in doing so, I took her to church. And my family jokes about it, mostly for the fact that it's probably been about 15 years. I will say it's more than 10. So over a decade since I have been to church. And that's not including funerals or weddings. Those don't count. I'm not really at church when it comes to those. I'm here for a specific event, and it so happens to take place. The venue is a church. But it has been well over a decade since I have stepped foot in a church and participated in a Sunday service. So we've actually gone twice so far. And, going with Mama Baton, she has me sitting front row center. Front row center, y'all. Mind you, I am 5'9", but of course, me being the Haitian that I am, I'm not going to church in just regular clothes. I have on a dress, which I had to dig for because I did not have church appropriate clothes. And I had to throw my heels on because, I'm just all about presentation, and my family never allowed me to go to church in jeans and a t-shirt. That was frowned upon in my household. So, I was happy I got to pull out, some of my work dresses because it's been a while and they still fit. COVID-19, trying to give everybody that extra 19 pounds. But, I got there, and of course, we're sitting in the front, and I just feel like all eyes are on me. I am the first row, and I don't remember a lot of the routine. There are times when you stand, there are times when you sit, there are times when you kneel, there are times where there is a community prayer that is said from I was lost, y'all. I thank God for the masks, because I kind of feel like that helped me feel a little more comfortable with the fact that I didn't have to really speak. You can't tell if I'm speaking or not. So I appreciated the mask for that reason. Thank you, COVID. But, just being there kind of just brought me back to the good times of my childhood, of going to church and feeling a part of a community. Because I think one thing that a lot of people never really stressed is the fact that church is a community. It is a community of believers. It is a community of people who share a common faith or a common denominator, and that denominator is your faith. And despite the fact that I was there to take care of my, make sure my mom's not running up on people and hugging them, which she tried, I felt like it allowed me to reconnect with my faith. Now, like I said before, I never stopped praying. I never stopped believing in God. but I did stop believing in the church. And going back now, not to say my complete faith in the church is, miraculously fixed. I still feel like there are certain loopholes and situations that need to be taken care of and addressed. But for the general part of it, I appreciated, is that a word? I appreciate the fact that I was able to attend a service, and I found myself actually paying attention. I found myself listening to the gospel. I found myself listening to the homily. Those of you who don't know what the homily is, it's the sermon after the gospel where the priest speaks about whether it's how today's readings relate to current events or your everyday life. And I wasn't distracted. I didn't need to check my phone. I wasn't thinking about what I needed to get done this week. I focused on what was being said to me and left it there. I was able to absorb the words, coming from, we call priests the messenger for God. I was able to absorb the words of the sermon and apply it to my life, which is what the point of Sunday services are. The point is to come together as a community and pray, especially with what we have going on in the world now. It's important that we find a community, a healthy community, where we can be ourselves and pray together and work towards a common goal. And that common goal is just salvation. Making sure we all get to the end point together. Because at the end of the day, we all have the same will. We want to make it. And if you believe in an afterlife, then we all seem to share the same afterlife. Who wants to burn? Who wants to spend eternity burning in the pits of hell? For those of you who don't believe in hell, then what is your version of a sad ending? So it was refreshing to come back to church. And I joke with Mama Baton and say, girl, do you know how many people have been trying to get me to come back to church? And you were the one to make it happen. So I will continue to keep you guys updated on how this lovely process goes. Like I said, we're just getting back into the field of it. I've only gone twice, and right now it's becoming our thing. We do the 7 a.m. Mass, and then we get our day started. But I will say that going back to church has allowed me to feel better about certain things that I'm doing. But I'm interested to hear what your thoughts are on religion, whether you were raised in one religion and converted, what caused you to convert, or if you just don't believe in God, what do you believe in? I'm interested. I feel like religion is such a dynamic conversation topic that I can sit here and give you stories about my childhood and stories that I've heard when it comes to religion, and it can blow your mind, and vice versa. So hit me up in the comments, send me a message, or if you want to continue this on Instagram, you can find me there. I'd love to hear your thoughts on religion and, your upbringing in religion versus where you are now. So on that note, I want to thank you for rocking out with me and listening to me chit chat about religion, and me coming back to the church. Oh Lord, when I tell you my aunt was so happy to know that I woke up and went to church, and although I was doing it for my mom, a part of me was doing it for me too. I've been telling myself for the longest that I'm going to go back to church. I'm going to go back to church. I'm going to go back to church when I'm ready to do so. I live a life where I'm just like, I don't like being forced to do anything. Don't force me. If you want me to do something, tell me once and let me find my way there. But if you try to push it on me, if you try to pressure me, then there's no way you're getting me to follow through. So, like I said, thank you so much for rocking out with me. I appreciate your time. I appreciate your ear. And I hope you continue to rock out. We got episodes coming every Wednesday. Lord knows what topic's going to come up next. I'm pretty sure it'll be worth it. On that note, thank you for tuning in to Shou Talks. Remember, it's my life, my story. Can't nobody tell it like I can. And I'm out.